Welcome to Miss Scarlett. Subscribe and don't miss out on Patreon. Have fun! Carlos shifted uncomfortably in the plush robe provided by the spa, feeling like a fish out of water amidst the tranquil atmosphere and soothing aromatherapy scents. Come on, bro, lighten up, Charlotte chirped, nudging her brother's shoulder playfully. This is gonna be fun, I promise. Carlos forced a weak smile, unconvinced. If you say so, sis. I still don't know how you talked me into this. Because you love me, and you owe me for helping you move last month, Charlotte replied with a wink. Now, let's check in and get this spa day started. As they approached the reception desk, Carlos couldn't help but notice the curious glances from other patrons, mostly women, he observed. He felt his cheeks grow warm, wishing he could disappear into the soft fabric of his robe. The receptionist greeted them with a practiced smile. Welcome to Serenity Springs Spa. How may I assist you today? Charlotte stepped forward, her enthusiasm palpable. Hi, we have a reservation for 2 under Charlotte Reynolds, the ultimate relaxation package. Yes, I have you right here, the receptionist confirmed, tapping away at her keyboard. And this must be your partner? Carlos cleared his throat awkwardly. Brother, actually. Oh, my apologies. The receptionist quickly recovered. It's wonderful to see more men embracing self-care. You're in for a treat. As they were led to the changing area, Carlos leaned in close to Charlotte. I still can't believe I let you talk me into this. I feel ridiculous. Charlotte rolled her eyes good-naturedly. Trust me, you'll thank me later. Now go get changed, and I'll meet you by the relaxation lounge. Reluctantly, Carlos made his way to the men's changing room. He couldn't shake the feeling that he was intruding on a space not meant for him. As he hung up his clothes and secured his belongings in a locker, he caught sight of himself in the full-length mirror. His muscular frame seemed at odds with the soft, fluffy robe. Taking a deep breath, he stepped out into the hallway, following the signs to the relaxation lounge. He found Charlotte already reclined on one of the chaise lounges, sipping on a glass of cucumber water. There you are, she exclaimed, patting the seat next to her. Come, sit. Our first treatment is in a few minutes. Carlos lowered himself onto the chaise, his movements stiff and awkward. What exactly did you sign us up for? Charlotte's eyes sparkled with excitement. We're starting with a couples massage, then facials, manicures, and pedicures. The works! Before Carlos could protest, a spa attendant appeared. Mr. and Ms. Reynolds, if you'll follow me, your massage therapists are ready for you. As they were led to a dimly lit room with 2 massage tables, Carlos felt his anxiety spike. He'd never had a professional massage before, and the thought of a stranger touching him made him nervous. Just relax, Charlotte whispered, sensing his unease. You're gonna love this, the massage therapists introduced themselves and gave instructions on how to position themselves on the tables. Carlos fumbled with the robe, trying to maintain some semblance of modesty as he lay face down. As the therapist began working on his tense muscles, Carlos couldn't help but let out a small groan of relief. The skilled hands kneaded away knots he didn't even know he had, and he felt himself starting to unwind. How are you doing over there, bro? Charlotte's voice drifted over, slightly muffled by the face rest. Better than expected, Carlos admitted, surprised by how much he was enjoying the experience. The next hour passed in a blissful haze of relaxation. By the time the massage ended, Carlos felt like he was floating on a cloud. As they made their way to their next treatment, he found himself less self-conscious about being in the spa. The facial room was filled with the scent of essential oils and soft ambient music. As they settled into the reclining chairs, Carlos couldn't help but chuckle. "What's so funny?" Scarlett asked, raising an eyebrow. "Just thinking about what the guys at the construction site would say if they could see me now," Carlos replied, shaking his head. The esthetician began applying various creams and masks to their faces, explaining the benefits of each product. Carlos found himself genuinely interested, asking questions about ingredients and techniques. As they lay with cooling masks on their faces, Scarlett reached over and squeezed her brother's hand. "See? I told you this would be fun." Carlos squeezed back, a smile playing at the corners of his mouth. Yeah. Don't let it go to your head." After the facial, they moved on to the nail salon area for their manicures and pedicures. Carlos hesitated as they approached the rows of polished colors. I don't think I need any color," he said, rubbing the back of his neck. The nail technician smiled kindly. "We can just do a clear coat if you prefer. Or we have some more neutral tones that are popular with our male clients." Scarlett nudged him playfully. "Come on, live a little. How about a nice navy blue?" Carlos considered for a moment, then shrugged. "You know what? Why not? Let's go with the blue." As they settled into the pedicure chairs, feet soaking in warm, fragrant water, Carlos found himself genuinely enjoying the pampering. He watched with fascination as the technician worked on his calloused feet, transforming them into something almost unrecognizable. "This is actually pretty nice," he admitted to Scarlett, who beamed with satisfaction. "Told you so. Sometimes it's good to step out of your comfort zone." As the nail technician finished up Carlos's manicure, applying the final coat of navy polish, a spa attendant approached them. "Excuse me, Mr. Reynolds. We have an opening for our deluxe makeover service if you're interested. It's usually booked solid, but we had a last-minute cancellation." Carlos blinked in surprise, caught off guard by the offer. "Oh, I don't know." Scarlett's eyes lit up. "That sounds amazing! What does it include?" The attendant smiled. "It's a full transformation experience. Hairstyling, makeup application, and a personalized wardrobe consultation. It's very popular with clients looking to explore new looks or boost their confidence." Carlos felt a strange flutter in his stomach at the description. Part of him wanted to immediately refuse, but another part, a part he'd long kept buried, was intrigued. Scarlett sensed his hesitation and gave him an encouraging smile. "Why not give it a try? It's just for fun, and you can always wash it off after." Carlos took a deep breath, his heart racing. Okay. Yeah, let's do it." The attendant clapped her hands together. "Wonderful! I'll let the team know. We'll start as soon as your nails are dry." As they were led to the makeover studio, Carlos felt a mix of nervousness and excitement. The studio was a spacious room with several styling stations, racks of clothing, and a curved wall of mirrors. A bubbly stylist greeted them, introducing herself as Mia. "So, Carlos, what kind of look are we going for today? Any particular style you want to explore?" Carlos hesitated, unsure how to articulate the vague feelings stirring within him. I'm not really sure. Maybe something softer? Different from my usual look?" Mia's eyes sparkled with understanding. "I think I know just the thing. Let's start with your hair, shall we?" As Mia worked her magic, washing and styling Carlos's hair, he closed his eyes, allowing himself to relax into the experience. The gentle touch of her fingers on his scalp was soothing, and he found himself drifting into a state of calm anticipation. "All right, let's move on to makeup," Mia announced, swiveling Carlos's chair to face the mirror. His eyes widened as he took in his transformed hair. Softly tousled waves framed his face, giving him a more feminine appearance. Charlotte gasped in delight. "Oh my God, Carlos! You look amazing already!" As Mia began applying makeup, explaining each step of the process, Carlos felt a sense of rightness wash over him. The weight of years of suppressed feelings began to lift, replaced by a growing excitement. "Now for the finishing touch," Mia said, reaching for a selection of lip colors. "I think a soft rose would suit you perfectly." As the color was applied to his lips, Carlos felt a shiver run down his spine. He barely recognized the person staring back at him in the mirror. Softer features, luminous skin, expressive eyes framed by long lashes. "What do you think?" Mia asked, stepping back to admire her work. Carlos was speechless, emotions welling up inside him. Charlotte squeezed his shoulder gently. "You look beautiful," she whispered. Finding his voice, Carlos managed to say, It's perfect. I've never felt so... me." Mia smiled warmly. "I'm so glad you like it. Now, let's find you an outfit to complete the look." As they browsed through racks of clothing, Carlos found himself drawn to flowing dresses and delicate blouses. With Mia and Charlotte's encouragement, he selected a knee-length floral dress with a sweetheart neckline. Stepping behind the changing screen, Carlos slipped out of his robe and into the dress. The soft fabric against his skin felt like a revelation. Taking a deep breath, he stepped out to face the mirrors. The person reflected back was someone he'd only ever imagined in his deepest, most private thoughts. Tears welled up in his eyes as a lifetime of suppressed identity came rushing to the surface. Charlotte approached slowly, her own eyes glistening. "Carlos, are you okay?" He turned to his sister, a mix of vulnerability and newfound confidence in his gaze. I don't think I'm Carlos anymore. I think I'm Alice." Charlotte's face softened with understanding and love. She pulled her sibling into a tight hug. "Oh, sweetie, I'm so proud of you. Alice is a beautiful name." Mia, sensing the importance of the moment, quietly excused herself, leaving the siblings to their emotional reunion. As they embraced, Alice felt years of confusion and self-doubt melt away. She pulled back, wiping away tears carefully to avoid smudging her makeup. "I can't believe this is real. I've known for so long, but I never had the courage to admit it, even to myself." Charlotte took her hands, squeezing them reassuringly. "You have nothing to be afraid of. I'm here for you, no matter what. We'll figure this out together." Alice nodded, overcome with gratitude for her sister's unwavering support. "Thank you. I don't know what I'd do without you." As the reality of her transformation settled in, Alice couldn't help but laugh. "When you suggested a spa day, I never imagined it would turn out like this." Charlotte grinned. "Well, I always said you needed to pamper yourself more, though I admit I didn't expect such a dramatic makeover." Alice twirled in front of the mirror, watching the dress swish around her legs. "It's funny. I've always felt so uncomfortable in my own skin, but right now, I've never felt more at home." "You look it," Charlotte agreed. "There's a glow about you that I've never seen before. It's like you finally let your true self shine through." As they gathered Alice's things, preparing to leave the spa, a thought occurred to her. What am I going to do now? I can't exactly go back to the construction site looking like this. Charlotte squeezed her arm reassuringly. "One step at a time, sis. We'll figure it out together. For now, let's just enjoy this moment. How about we go for a coffee and talk things through?" Alice nodded, grateful for her sister's level-headedness. As they made their way to the spa's exit, she caught sight of herself in a mirror once more. The person reflected back was still new and unfamiliar, But for the first time in her life, Alice felt truly seen. Stepping out into the warm afternoon sun, Alice took a deep breath, feeling the weight of her old life falling away. She knew the road ahead would be challenging, but with Scarlett by her side and the newfound courage to be her authentic self, she was ready to face whatever came next. As they walked down the street, Alice marveled at the feeling of the breeze on her bare legs and the click of her heels on the pavement. Every sensation was new and exhilarating. She noticed a few curious glances from passers-by, but was surprised to find that she didn't feel self-conscious. Instead, she felt a surge of pride in her appearance. They found a quaint little cafe tucked away on a side street, its outdoor seating area shaded by colorful umbrellas. As they settled into their chairs, Alice couldn't help but smile at the normalcy of the situation. Two sisters out for coffee on a beautiful day. The waiter approached their table, notepad in hand. "Good afternoon, ladies. What can I get for you today?" Alice felt a thrill at being addressed as a woman. She ordered a latte, her voice softer than usual but growing in confidence. As they waited for their drinks, Scarlett leaned forward, her expression serious but kind. "So, Alice, how are you feeling about all of this?" Alice took a moment to consider the question, her fingers tracing patterns on the tablecloth. "Honestly, it's overwhelming, but in the best possible way. It's like I've been holding my breath for years, and I've finally come up for air." Scarlett nodded encouragingly. "I can only imagine. Have you known for a long time?" Alice sighed, her gaze drifting to the bustling street beyond their little oasis. "I think on some level, I've always known. There were moments growing up when I'd look at you or Mom and feel this longing. Not to be with you, but to be like you. I just didn't have the words to express it." The waiter returned with their drinks, and Alice wrapped her hands around the warm mug, drawing comfort from its heat. "I tried so hard to be the person everyone expected me to be. Tough, masculine Carlos. But it never felt right. It was like wearing a costume every day of my life." Scarlett reached across the table, placing her hand over Alice's. "I'm so sorry you had to go through that alone. I wish I had known, that I could have helped somehow." Alice squeezed her sister's hand, smiling through the tears that threatened to fall. "You're helping now. Your acceptance, your support, it means everything to me." They sat in comfortable silence for a moment, sipping their coffee and watching the world go by. Alice marveled at how different everything looked through her new lens of self-acceptance. "So," Scarlett said finally, a hint of mischief in her voice, "what's next for Alice?" Alice laughed, the sound light and carefree. "God, I have no idea. Everything's changed in the span of a few hours. I guess I need to figure out how to live as my true self." Scarlett's eyes lit up with excitement. "Well, you're going to need a whole new wardrobe for starters. Oh, and we should have a girls' night. Mani-pedis, rom-coms, the works. You've got years of sisterly bonding to catch up on." Alice felt a rush of affection for her sister's enthusiasm. "That sounds amazing, but also terrifying. There's so much I don't know, so much to learn." "Hey," Scarlett said softly, her tone becoming serious. "You don't have to have it all figured out right away. This is a journey, and you get to take it at your own pace. I'll be right here with you, every step of the way." Alice nodded, feeling a wave of gratitude wash over her. "Thank you. I don't know what I'd do without you." As they finished their coffee, Alice's mind began to race with all the questions and challenges that lay ahead. How would she tell their parents? What about her job? Her friends? The thought of facing the world as Alice was both exhilarating and terrifying. "You know," Scarlett mused, interrupting Alice's swirling thoughts. I always wanted a sister. Looks like I got my wish after all. Alice laughed, feeling some of her anxiety dissipate. Well, I hope I live up to expectations. Fair warning, I may need to borrow your clothes until I build up my own wardrobe. My closet as Sue closet, Scarlett declared dramatically, causing both of them to dissolve into giggles. As their laughter subsided, Alice took a deep breath, squaring her shoulders. Okay, I think I'm ready to face the world, or at least a small part of it. Want to go shopping? Charlotte's face lit up with excitement. Absolutely! Let's get you some outfits that make you feel as beautiful on the outside as you are on the inside. They stood up, gathering their things, and Alice felt a surge of courage. This was just the beginning of her journey, but with Scarlett by her side, she felt ready to take on whatever challenges lay ahead. As they walked arm in arm down the busy street, Alice held her head high, embracing her new identity with each step. The future was uncertain, but for the first time in her life, she was walking towards it as her true self. The boutique Scarlett led them to was a charming little shop, its windows displaying an array of colorful dresses and accessories. Alice hesitated for a moment at the entrance, suddenly overwhelmed by the reality of what they were about to do. Scarlett sensed her trepidation and gave her arm a reassuring squeeze. You've got this. Remember, there's no pressure. We're just here to have fun and explore. Taking a deep breath, Alice nodded and stepped inside. The shop was a riot of colors and textures, racks of clothing stretching as far as the eye could see. A friendly-looking sales associate approached them with a warm smile. Welcome, ladies! Is there anything I can help you find today? Scarlett took charge, her enthusiasm infectious. Yes, we're looking to build a whole new wardrobe for my sister here. She's going for a fresh start. The associate, whose name tag read Emma, clapped her hands together excitedly. Oh, how wonderful! A style makeover is always such fun. Do you have any particular looks in mind? Alice found herself at a loss for words, suddenly realizing she had no idea how to articulate her style preferences. She'd spent so long suppressing this part of herself that she'd never really considered what kind of clothes she'd want to wear. Sensing her sister's uncertainty, Scarlett jumped in. Why don't we start with some basics? A few casual outfits, maybe a dress or two for special occasions? Emma nodded enthusiastically. Perfect! Let's start by getting your measurements, and then we can pull some pieces for you to try on. As Emma led them to a fitting room area, Alice leaned in close to Scarlett. I have no idea what I'm doing, she whispered, a note of panic in her voice. Scarlett squeezed her hand reassuringly. That's okay. That's what this is all about. Figuring out what you like. Just have fun with it. The next hour passed in a whirlwind of fabric and color. Alice tried on more clothes than she ever had in her life as Carlos. Some items were immediate no's, too frilly, too revealing, or just not her style. But others made her feel like she was truly seeing herself for the first time. There was a simple A-line dress in a deep emerald green that made her gasp when she saw her reflection. A pair of high-waisted jeans paired with a flowy blouse that made her feel both comfortable and feminine. A leather jacket that added just the right amount of edge to a floral dress. With each outfit, Alice felt more confident, more herself. She started to develop preferences, learning what colors and styles made her feel most authentic. Scarlett was an endless source of encouragement and honest feedback, her joy at seeing her sister blossom evident in her beaming smile. As Alice twirled in front of the mirror in a particularly flattering sundress, she caught sight of her reflection and paused. The person looking back at her was so far removed from the Carlos she'd been just hours ago, yet she'd never felt more like herself. You look beautiful, Charlotte said softly, coming to stand beside her. "But more than that, you look happy." Alice nodded, unable to speak past the lump in her throat. She pulled her sister into a tight hug, overwhelmed with gratitude and love.
Thanks for watching my girlies! Be sure to check out Patreon for more!